And if you're just joining us today, we are in the midst of a spacewalk. We are now 28 minutes into today's spacewalk to complete a modification kit installation on the 2A location of the International Space Station shown there on your screen. Previously, we have installed other International Space Station rollout solar arrays, or IROSAs, on the other locations that you see. At this time, NASA astronauts Anne McClain and Nichole Ayers, who are doing their third and first spacewalk respectively, are translating to the 2A location, where they will begin to build the modification kit and attach it to that location that you see on your screen. And you may recall that over the past couple of years, we've continued to work to upgrade the power channels on the space station. Today's mounting bracket installation on 2A sets us up to have that array installed at a later date. The current solar arrays are functioning well, but have begun to show signs of degradation as expected, as they were designed for a 15-year service life. And this year we are celebrating 25 years of continuous human presence on board the International Space Station. Once the new solar arrays are positioned in front of the other arrays, the current arrays, the station's total available power will increase from 160 kilowatts to a maximum of 215 kilowatts.
Copy vapor. Handrail 3651 to Nader 1.
Additionally, during today's spacewalk, McClain and Ayers will work to relocate a common communications for visiting vehicle antenna, or C2V2, 1.5 feet over, to provide better redundancy for visiting spacecraft at the International Space Station.
My green hook is on 3651.
Copy vapor. Once that's complete, you'll continue port to the work site. Just make sure your gauntlets are in place prior to crossing the Sarge.
Gauntlets are in place.
Copy vapor, and then 2 cautions at the work site. Do not touch the radiator or the flex hoses, and do not translate on that PVR base handrail. And
I'm at 3652 and working on the green hook.
we copy, Ann. Thanks. And the vapor, you're going to be going nadir at the Sarge to your work site, and you will be fair leading along the inboard non-radiator corner of the IEA before dropping the strut bag.
At this time, McClain and Ayers are continuing to translate to the port side of the International Space Station, heading to the work site of the modification kit structure for today. Once they are at that location, they will secure their 2 bags, the tool bag and the 8-foot-long strut bag, and begin the installation activity. Ayers will start the modification activity by removing the strut out of the bag and assembling what is called an upper triangle, consisting of several pieces. It consists of 2 struts and a mounting bracket. Ayers will then hand that assembled triangle to McClain, who will install it on the mass canister of the beta gimbal assembly, or BGA. The duo will be utilizing the pistol grip tool, or PGT, to secure it to the beta gimbal assembly.
The method charge gauntlets are still down.
Say again for ground IV.
Issues at the Sarge gauntlets still down. And G1's got green hook on 3652.
Copy, and just ensure that your gauntlets are down and do not touch the radiator flex hoses or the base handrail.
G1 copy. Gauntlets are down.
Copy, gauntlets. Next for you then, Ann, is continue to translate port to the work site. You're going to be stowing the cable bag and putting the IROSA cables just external to the bag. No fair lead required.
TV1 copy. Visiting aft on the IEA.
Copy. And as a reminder, you'll fair lead there at that inboard corner vapor, and then you'll proceed with the strut bag drop-off.
oh no! I know, and I'm like, no! You're so right! And this is so funny when you say that. You're like, the keyboard's not working. I know. I know. And more than I've been around about that, there's a time in this girl, go back to your basics, like how I am like a baby or whatever. Like, you know, like, she was like, talk back to how you do this. Just before you get for it. I think it's I have a hard time with her. No, I don't at all. I think at all. I think it's my question for like that. Yes. Live again. I'm not seeing it so live.
No, I know, but I don't know, but just to pick it up.
Uno. 1, 2. Mic check. 1, 2, 3, 4. Jot it down.
When was the last time we went to? Is that Mar-a-Lago? Mar-a-Lago, yeah. Been a few places. More to come. Yeah, I got to fill in for Ed tomorrow night, actually. Next week I got to go to San Diego. I'm going to Doha, Qatar. And hopefully Abu Dhabi.
Testing 1, 2. Mic check. 1, 2, 3, 4. Mic.
Then it's Dubai. Fast. We still need to get dinner. Yeah, I know. Things got a little hectic. Oh, I know. It was literally every week I was traveling during the campaign. Every week. I mean, the good news is that I had 250,000 miles with American Airlines. 250,000. Yeah, I can imagine.
going to have more time very soon. Okay. And I'll explain why. Hey guys, I can hear you. Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, that's right. I'd rather do that than zoom in and see Yeah, I'll be rolling.
Hey, how you doing? Good, thanks.
I think he's here. John, did you find out if they know? Yeah, they do. Well, we can roll on a team. No, I'll probably. When he starts speaking, are you able to shoot over my shoulder, or am I going to have to sit down? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I'll just sit. I'll just sit.
Yeah, it blocks the podium.
Just get in a crouch like this for
30 minutes.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nestor Iglesias. I am the Public Affairs Officer for U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. We're getting ready to start the press conference here shortly, but I wanted to give you the order of who is speaking. So, we have spellings and all that stuff taken care of now. So, the first speaker is going to be our ICE Deputy Director, Madison Sheehan, followed by the Honorable Governor Ron DeSantis. Following Governor DeSantis will be the Director of State Board of Immigration Enforcement, Larry Keefe. And then we will end the portion of the press conference with Sector Border Patrol Chief Jeffrey Denise. Once the press conference is over, we'll have about a 5 or 10 minute Q&A, and then the principals will depart. We're here to talk about Operation Tidal Wave, so I will respectfully request to keep your questions to Operation Tidal Wave. There's a lot to discuss this operation. The press release will be handed out shortly. So if we can stick to the topic, it would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Sounds like there's a speaker before DeSantis, so I'm going to try to squeak it up as respectfully as I can. Let's see how it goes. Are you going to be there during the press conference? Not during the I'm going to try to respect the whole thing. Am I in or not in the shot? When you come to what I'll do is, so I'm going to try to get up at the top of 10. I'm going to try to get this shot. Sorry, when DeSantis comes in, give the second. Yes? Yeah. No. No. Focus. False color. Yeah, I got you. They don't make it anymore. No, some older models. Yeah, it sounds like there's a speaker before DeSantis and they'll come in, so I could probably just speak it out. Once they start, then I'll sit down.
Did you grab one from the gizmo?
Huh?
Did you grab one from the
Yeah.
Oh no, it was brown.
Anybody else need one?
Anyone?
I thought they'd let you out of the house.
What?
I thought they didn't let you out of the house.
Well, I think this is 10 minutes from the house. I really had no choice. We tried to, well, we were okay.
Yes. Anybody else? I got one more. Actually, I got two more. Last call. zoom out.
Do you have a BRT ret on it?
And getting a good view now as Nichole Ayers works to assemble that upper triangle, you can really see it start to take shape. The upper triangle does consist of 2 struts and a mounting bracket. Once McClain joins Ayers, Ayers will hand that upper triangle to McClain, who will install it on the mass canister of the Beta Gimbly Assembly, or BGA structure.
Say again, Vapor.
So EVT has 2 turns started on the
Vapor, we heard 2 turns started on M17. Looks like you have your PGT settings are Bravo 1 clockwise 2.
And Marcos has set Golf on the pitch on the WIFX.
Copy Golf on the WIFX. Appreciate that. Copy Golf on the WIFX. Appreciate that. And again, Ann, once that's complete, you'll be headed back to your work site. Green hook, but first seat of brakes.
Copy. On my EV3, the good count, good LED set, and 41.7.
And Vapor, can you say again, you're coming in kind of broken?
Got a good cal test on the PG 41.2 volts. A good LED test. I've got Bravo 1 clockwise 2 set.
Copy good cal, Bravo 1 clockwise 2. Looking for an additional 5 to 7 turns. You'll drive M17 to torque.
Marcos, I have 2 good pumps on the port seat of cart. Direction starboard.
Copy that, and next will be the port seat of cart.
And Ayers is using the pistol grip tool, or PGT, essentially a space drill, to help assemble that upper triangle we discussed.
Marcos for EVT, that was 6 turns. Got a green light. 11.9 on this. Under the MT.
Copy, Vapor. If you can confirm that the black line is flush.
Black line is flush.
And Vapor, that is a good M17. You can release the rep from the right upper strut.
Because I have 2 good full pumps on the port seat of cart, because you know what they say, pumps a day keeps the mur away.
Oh, we agree with that statement. Good job. And next will be to continue translating port to your green hook location, just nadir of the FHRC. Same place as previous.
Okay, copy. I'm going to pause here and get this APFR in a little bit of a different config. Just wanting to jump around a little more than I expected.
And we copy.
And this is a view of NASA astronaut Anne McClain. She is serving as EV1 during her third spacewalk today, as you can tell by the spacesuit she's wearing with the red stripes. She is working to readjust the APFR, or articulating portable foot restraint.
And Vapor, just catching up with
Come
you.
back out your way, Vapor.
She will utilize this to help install the upper triangle that Ayers is building as we speak. McClain will need to use the APFR to help install the upper triangle on the mass canister of the beta gimbal assembly.
To the center pad grounding block.
I did not. I got now.
Copy. After the pip pin, I'll have instructions for MLI, so just let me know once that's done.
And I'm going back by the seat of spur.
Copy, Ann.
And as we get this pan of the International Space Station truss structure, you're getting a good view of the handrails, which is what the crew utilizes when they translate or move from one location of the International Space Station to the other.
Marcos, the pin is installed.
Copy, Vapor. Can you verify that the pip pin for the right upper strut is still installed?
Yes.
Sweet. And then you can install the left upper strut MLI on the center pad, covering the L2 clevis, as well as the right upper strut MLI.
What? All right, Marcus, I am back at 3652. Work on the green hook again.
Copy. And after that, you'll be continuing starboard to your work site to install the bundle.
In this view of Nichole Ayers' helmet cam of the upper triangle, she has been in the process of installing multi-layer insulation, or MLI, around the upper triangle. It's that white fabric material that you do see.
How many turns you started on M15?
4.
Copy. That's good turns on M15. We'll work on M16. I've got PGT settings when you're ready.
Send it.
Bravo 3 clockwise 2 on EV3 PGT.
Yeah, I've got Bravo 3. Clockwise.
Copy. You're going to be driving M16 to torque. Expect 24 to 25 turns, and we'll get the black line flush call.
Yeah, it looks. Green hook, EV1 on 3652.
And I copied your last, and just ensure that your gauntlets are down prior to crossing the Sarge.
Copy, will do.
McClain is continuing her translation or movement over to where NASA astronaut Nichole Ayers is. Once there, she will assist her in finishing up the build of the upper triangle portion before they work together to install it on the mass canister.
Hey, we're going for EDC 1016, about 22.5 turns. Green light for the torque. Big black line is push.
And Vapor, can you say those numbers again for us, please?
22 and a half, 22.5 turns, 0.8 on the torque. Right, black line flush. For EV1, my gauntlets are in place. I'm switching to Sarge.
And Vapor, we're talking here on the ground real quick, and copy your gauntlets are down. You're proceeding to the work site. Just note you've got the radiator and the PVR handrail. Do not touch, and you'll be dropping off the bundle on with
25. 20, actually.
And we are approaching a day pass here, as you can tell on your screen as it is getting brighter.
Slowly. We're just having a hard time reading you. It's coming in a little broken.
The International Space Station is currently flying 262 statute miles over the North Pacific Ocean off the coast of Alaska.
Green light, black line, big flush. All right, I'm back on the IA with you. With you.
And we're discussing Vapor. And Vapor, we're expecting 24 turns. We got about 22 and a half. So we'd like you to hit M16 one more time to torque.
And a really great view here of NASA astronaut Ann McClain as well as NASA astronaut Nichole Ayers. Ayers is on the left and building that triangle. McClain is on the right in the spacesuit with the red stripes, and you can see the articulating portable foot restraint that she brought over to assist in the build.
Our work sites are going to get kind of close together, so let me know if I'm in your way. Okay. That's for easy. Scout 18.3, light, and that was no turn.
Copy, no additional turns. We'll discuss. And for you, look like it's in work with 25. The clocking is 6. You already have the pitch at golf, so expect the handrail to be facing towards the IEA.
Copy. I'm stopping at 5145 to get a rich man's fair lead in.
And we copy in. Thanks.
So CD2 for your essay, the PD burn count is 22.98. That's the base.
And in Vapor, we're going to proceed driving M15 to torque. So expect an additional 20 turns. It is Bravo 3 clockwise 2.
Okay. I have Bravo 3 clockwise 2 set and 15 on 5.
Copy.
If you're just joining us this morning, you're looking at a live view of two NASA astronauts outside the International Space Station performing a spacewalk. On your left of your screen is NASA astronaut Nichole Ayers completing her very first spacewalk today. On the right of your screen is NASA astronaut McClain with a spacesuit in red stripes on her third spacewalk. The primary tasks for the spacewalkers today is to install a support bracket called a modification kit, which will prepare the site for future installation and deployment of the fourth of 6 new International Space Station Rollout solar arrays, or IROSAs. Additionally, the duo will relocate a communications antenna called the Common Communications for Visiting Vehicles, or C2V2 antenna, to ensure better redundancy in communication with visiting spacecraft to the International Space Station. And this view of McClain and Ayers helmet cams showing them at their respective work sites. McClain is working to translate or move over to where Ayers is at to continue to help with the triangle build as well as install it to the mass canister. And through McClain's helmet camera on the left of your screen, you do see the Earth as the International Space Station flies 262 statute miles
M15
overhead.
To torque. Same settings, Bravo 3 clockwise 2.
Bravo 3 clockwise 2, looking M15 15 again. Goes for M15 15. Have a green light already out, but I have a green light with 18.4 on the torque and no additional turns.
Copy, no additional turns, Vapor, we're discussing. And Vapor, just give us a minute, we're checking. And Vapor, we have a troubleshooting step for you. Can you look at the interface of the struts and just make sure that nothing is caught in between, no MLI, and that it is flush?
MLI is not in between mountain record and the upper strut. These black lines are aligned. Oh, it's flush.
We copy all vapor, and the reason we're asking, we're just expecting one more turn on each of those bolts, so we're discussing. And looks like it's in work. The extension will be 5.
Yes, I have the settings set, just working on getting it locked in the whiff.
Copy. Now, vapor, good news. We are calling both of those bolts, M15 and M16, good. We will proceed. We'll have you release the ret from the left upper strut.
Okay. See, good bolts and all right, Marcos, I have 6 set on the whiff extender, good pull and twist test. Got a golf on the pitch and a 5 on the extension. And I've got 12 Tango Tango Fox 12 on the APFR.
We copy, and I may have missed it, but can you confirm that the pitch knob of the APFR can be depressed?
Yes, I will go do that now.
And this view from Ayers' helmet camera as she works to continue the build of the upper triangle.
Marcos, the ret is off of the left upper strut. Got the MLI over the
And vapor, I think I heard you say that you released the ret from the left upper strut.
And this view from McClain's helmet camera, we're getting a really breathtaking view of Earth. The International Space Station just flew over Grants Pass, Oregon. It's flying 261 statute miles overhead.
And I've got PGT settings for you, which should be Bravo 3 clockwise 2, so no change. Let me know when you're ready, and I'll give you more words.
Okay, I am ready for your words.
Are you going to be driving M13 and M14 to torque, and we expect an additional 20 turns?
The M13 and M14 to torque.
And for both and vapor,
yes, the pitch knob can be depressed.
Copy and pitch knob can be depressed. It's about 1 minute and 40 seconds till TDRS handover.
Copy. And I've got Bravo 3 clockwise 2 set.
Copy Bravo 3 clockwise 2. Drive M13 and M14 to torque.
Inward.
And then, and for you, looks like you're setting up the APFR, and if that's complete, you can
Confirmed.
assist vapor as needed. We might have some more words for you.
Copy. How's it going, vapor?
And we are seeing that upper triangle that NASA astronaut Nichole Ayers has been working to build. She's wrapping up that task as we speak.
Are you still with us?
I am with you. Say again.
M13 was 8 additional turns. The green light, 8 .3, 28.3. And these black lines, flush.
Vapor, I heard torque 18.3, turns 18, green light, black line flush for M13.
And we are in a brief handover period between our satellites, but we'll regain views here shortly. The team here in Mission Control Houston is being led by Flight Director Deanna Trujillo today. You see a view of her there on your screen, as well as the ground IV NASA astronaut Marcos Barrios. Barrios is interfacing with Ayers and McClain during today's spacewalk. We're now 1 hour and 20 minutes into the spacewalk today.
And in Vapor, we're back with you. Vapor for M13, we copied 18.3 on the torque, 18 turns and a green light.
Vapor.
And Vapor, that's a turn short, but we're going to press to M14. So you can drive M14. It should be an additional 20 turns.
Okay, copy that. I've got Bravo 3, twice 2 set for M14.
Copy. And once we pick back up with you, I think I heard you say you're going to be working the IROSA cable.
Negative. Vapor went to grab those. I can assist where you need it, Vapor.
And we copy. Thanks.
Stand by 1 second. Marcos, for M14, I've got 18 additional turns, 1/8, 8.4 for the actual torque and the green light. The black line is flush.
18.4 on torque, 18 turns, green light, black line is flush.
I've rebased this off the whip extender. Sure. Yeah, I've got the other end of the AET right here. I can take it. I've already read it to it. Okay.
And a Vapor, we are assessing. That's also turn short. And just in the meantime, we're trying to figure out good and bad times when we have comm with you. And so that last call was good comms. And so we don't know if when you rotate your head, the mic might get snagged with anything inside the helmet or the airflow. But we'll tell you when we have good comms, just so you can gauge what position that is.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. While you guys discuss the bolts, I'm going to pick up the cable.
Copy. And Vapor, those are good bolts for M13 and M14. So next for you is to just tend the EV3 PGT back to the strut bag unless you are moving it to the WIFX.
And the PGT and torque wrench are on an AET to the WIFX already. Sorry about that. Was calling. I think that was you doing the bolt. And while I have you, Marcos, I'm redoing my glove check. It has no changes, and the one spot has had no changes to it. And my half is dry.
Copy, good glove and hat check for you, and we copy that you've already transferred the EV3 PGT and torque wrench to the WIF X. So next will be to copy the IROSA cable.
Copy, and Vapor is grabbing those right now.
After the completion of the upper triangle build by Ayers, she's now working to remove some of the cables that will be installed. You see her on the left of your screen there, gathering those cables.
Okay, turn this triangle back to here first.
And a bit of a better view there of those cables, specifically from Ayers' helmet cam.
Cables on the mounting bracket, there's an oval cutout that has a adjustable free hook, and that's going to go on the D-ring on the adjustable that's on your cable.
Copy that.
These cables will be routed on the rollout, so will be routed for future installation for the rollout solar array.
Okay, the cables are on the adjustable, that's on the oval hole.
Copy, Vapor, and if you can, you can get...
And we were just getting a view of the solar arrays that the IROSA will eventually be placed over, so we'll stand by and potentially get another good look of that solar array location.
And Vapor, there should be one pre-installed wire tie per bundle that you can attach to the mounting bracket.
Yeah, that's in order.
And there we are getting a bit of context there of the solar arrays that are currently installed on board the International Space Station. The ISS rollout solar arrays are quite a bit smaller, but will actually provide more power for the orbiting laboratory once fully installed.
And
Today's spacewalk is occurring on the P4 truss of the International Space Station.
Yeah, I just moved. I'm going to put my safety tether or waist tether rather somewhere else so it doesn't do that again.
Once the modification kit is wrapped up and installed, the duo will translate to the P3 truss to complete the relocation of the Common Communication for Visiting Vehicles antenna, or C2V2 antenna, to ensure better redundancy for visiting spacecraft to the International Space Station.
Big.
And you do see there in the center of your screen NASA astronaut Anne McClain. She is at the location where the triangle and mounting bracket that has been built will be installed. That's the mass canister of the Beta Gimbal Assembly, or BGA structure. And a bit of a better view there of NASA astronaut Ann McClain in the spacesuit with the red stripes working to get into the articulating portable foot restraint, or APFR. That will help her as she works with Ayers to install the triangle on the mast canister of that beta gimbal assembly.
Hand the upper triangle to Ann, and we'll have more words for you with cautions before we proceed.
Yeah, and Vapor, you just verify my feet, please. Yeah, let me get into a better spot here where I can see it.
And Ann, let us know when you have ingress. We have some more words for enhanced glove check.
Copy, and I'm just having Vapor verify my feet. I believe I'm in. Yeah, they both look from touch to see your left heel, but your right heel's in. I'm sorry? Your left heel is touch to see, but your right heel is in. And I'm sorry, one more time on the left heel. Touch to see? Oh, touch to see. I see. Okay.
All right, and good job ingressing the APFR. Just make sure that the ingress aid is tucked in towards you so it doesn't get in the way with the upper triangle. And once that's complete, let me know and I'll have words.
Yes, definitely. It's tucked right now, but don't hesitate to remind me over and over again. That thing has a way of moving around.
Copy, will do. So, and for you, so right now what we would like you to do on your gloves, we'd like you to take your right glove palm up. We want you to flex your right index finger away, so overextend it, and provide that view to us via the HECA camera.
Okay, let me know, is that a good view in the HECA?
That is a good view at the HECA.
Okay, and you can see the spot. Now I can see it even when I'm not moving it. When I was in the airlock, it was only when I was moving it, but there's flex down. Flex back.
Copy, and if you can maybe bring it closer to the HECA camera. It's a good relative position, just closer.
How's that?
That's a good view.
And teams here on the ground taking another look at Ann McClain's glove following a report of a slice in her right index finger prior to exiting the airlock. The team on the ground.
Copy, Ann. We appreciate that view. We're good with that glove inspection. We do ask that you perform the same type of inspection every time you do your glove check, but you do not need to show us on the HECA. You can just perform it yourself.
Understand. Thanks. I'll let you know if there's any changes.
Copy that.
Okay, Vapor.
And the team on the ground reports that the glove is looking good. McClain is in the articulating portable foot restraint and will receive the triangle from Ayers next.
Thinking very slow, so slower than when you were translating with a strut bag on the BGA. Avoid cyclic loading on the mass canister in BGA. Max lateral loads is 40 pounds. And do not impart any forces into the mod kit struts before they're fully installed.
Give me one copy.
All right, next, Vapor, you can present the left or non-tethered end of the upper triangle to Ann.
So let me know. I can't really see. We're going to land off here. Yeah, just 1 second. I'm getting my workstation. Okay, out of the way here. Walk up. Okay. Go up about another 12 inches, I think. I have a hand on it. Okay. All right. This isn't small, is it?
And Ayers has handed the upper triangle to McClain following her build of it.
Installing the center pad on the mass canister, arrow up.
McClain will now install it on the mass canister of the beta gimbal assembly, or BGA structure.
Your mini workstation tabs And for soft engagement left to right, which is what you're doing, and once that's complete, you can rotate the upper triangle so it's neutral and you have access to the bolts. And vapor, since the EV3 PGT and torque wrench is already on the AET, we can have you go to the right saw bracket and get a visual alignment of the bearing. And just as an FYI, we've got that RET series from the bag to the mounting bracket that we want to keep eyes on as you go away and to the strap bag.
Center pad is soft dock. I'm going for my PGT, I believe 2 turns on each.
It'll be Alpha 2 clockwise 2 and is exactly 2
And this view of Ann McClain's helmet camera as she positions the upper triangle on the beta gimbal assembly.
All right, for the Fairchild fasteners.
If you're just tuning in with us this morning, we are 1 hour and 35 minutes into the 275th Spacewalk in support of space station maintenance, assembly, and upgrades. This morning, the spacewalking duo, which consists of NASA astronaut Ann McClain and Nichole Ayers, worked to build the upper triangle portion that you do see on your screen there. That is going to be installed on the mass canister of the beta gimbal assembly. The primary tasks for our spacewalkers today is to install this support bracket, which we call a modification kit, in anticipation of future solar array upgrades of the International Space Station Rollout solar arrays. The duo will also work to relocate a communications antenna called the Common Communications for Visiting Vehicles, or C2V2 antenna, to ensure better redundancy in communication with visiting spacecraft to the space station.
So you have a go to continue.
Okay, that's helpful. Okay.
Alpha 2 clockwise 2, and it's exactly 2 turns on all those bolts.
Alpha 2 clockwise 2, 2 turns. Because for EV2, the right soft bearing looks pretty thin. So it's at and parallel with.
And we copy vapor, and just for your SA, that last comm is in and out.
Marcus, I have Alpha 2 clockwise 2 set, and for 2 turns on each.
Good words. And vapor, we are now waiting for the center pad install before proceeding.
Copy that. I have 2 turns on M6 and M5, going for 2 turns on M8.
Copy, good turns on 5 and 6.
McClain now using the PGT or pistol grip tool to install the upper triangle to the mass canister.
Settings on the WIFX and the APFR.
I have 2 turns on 8 and 5. Especially top back out. I don't think it was all the way in to get those 2 turns again.
And we concur, Ann. Thanks.
Okay, I believe 6 now has 2 turns.
And copy, Ann. We're following.
All right, 7 has 2 turns. I believe now it's torquing Alpha 2 clockwise 2.
Alpha 2 clockwise 2, M5 through 8 to torque. Expect an additional 3 to 8 turns.
Copy, and there's no order, right?
Order does not matter.
Copy. Starting with M6. Okay, M6 got 5 turns, 3.6 torque green light.
And Ann, we're checking. Give us 20 seconds.
Okay.
That's a good M6. You can proceed, Ann.
Copy, good M6. And Marcos, I have 3.7 torque green light and 5 turns on M5.
That is a good M5. Proceed.
Copy, good M5. Going with M8. Yeah, there's 4.5 turns on M8. Green light, 3.6 torque.
It's a good N8.
Copy. Last golden work. Okay, got exactly 4 turns on M7. 3.8 torque, green light.
And that's a good M7. And we'll have you check that the center pad MLI and the pit pins, 2 of them are still installed.
Copy, in work. All right, I see 2 pit pins in. Good job on the MLI. Vapors nice and tight.
And with those 4 bolts being driven by NASA astronaut Ann McClain on the mass canister, the next steps will be to install the left and right lower and upper struts to continue to attach the triangle to the mass canister.
And if you agree, I think it's
And that's a good upper triangle install. And yep, you're going to get out of the APFR and you will be changing the WIFX and APFR settings. First, WIFX is going to be shortened to an extension of 1.
Copy. Nicely done. There's no workout at the gym that prepares you for that twist.
We are now 1 hour and 44 minutes into today's spacewalk. The crew is about 10 minutes ahead of the timeline. The upper triangle has successfully been installed to the beta gimbal assemble.
There you go, I'm free.
And for the both of you, just be aware that you still have that ret going from the bag to the mounting bracket.
The crew will now proceed with the installation of the right lower strut and right mid strut on the right side of the mass canister before doing the same on the left side.
And just for your awareness, we turned your HECA off.
Copy, HECA off.
Looks like you're working the extension of 1. Just verify that the ingress 8 is clear of the upper triangle after that reduction in height.
Ingress 8 is sort of clear. Now it's clear.
Copy, thanks, Ann. And then we're looking for a pitch of Papa Papa and a roll of Charlie for the APFR.
Copy. 6 is at 1. Remind me, is the yaw still 6? Or 12, rather?
The yaw should still be 12, correct.
Okay. All right, so 12 Papa Papa, Charlie 12.
Good words.
There's Charlie 12. And you can see the...
And this view from Nichole Ayers' helmet camera as she works to get the right lower strut out of the bag.
Papa Papa.
There is a right lower strut and a right mid strut which will be attached on the right side of the mass canister to further secure the upper triangle that has previously been installed.
Yes, yes. That was blind. All right, Papa Papa is set on the pitch on the APFR, and the button can be depressed.
Copy, those are good settings. And in Vapor, appreciate that. And next for you is going to be a socket swap. You're going to swap to the 5/8 by 2 inch, which is in your trash bag.
Copy that.
And then Vapor, we are going to wait until Ann does that socket swap. She's going to ingress the APFR, and then we're going to verify access to certain locations on the mounting bracket before proceeding with the mid-strut and lower strut handoff.
Okay. And Marcos, if it's okay, I'm going to get in the APFR and then do the socket swap while I have 2 hands.
Sounds like a great plan, and just another reminder on the ingress 8 and the upper triangle.
Copy that. So for an update on the gloves, I've got a smudge on my right index finger. It looks like
measure marks at the bag. And I've got several other black smudges on the tips of several fingers.
And Vapor, I think I heard you have several smudges, black smudges, on your gloves that you think came from the strep bag. Is that accurate?
Paper, mostly black and one red.
One black and one red. All right, we'll discuss you on the ground.
Marcus, it's several black smudges, not just one.
Copy. Several black smudges, and if you don't mind, if you can, one hand at a time, just put it over your heka. And that's a good view, Vapor. We see the red one, and we also see kind of two black on your right ring finger. And Vapor, appreciate those views. We are good to press it. We're being told that it's not uncommon to get smudges at the IEA. We'll keep you updated.
After that, thank you. You were just to the right of the two loop, like you might have yachted a little bit. Okay.
And Vapor, just as a reminder for you, we're just waiting on the ingress and socket swap, but if you have the bandwidth, you can help Ann with the ingress.
Copy. Work. There we go. The ret series is clear.
And
Did you say you think it yawed? I think it did, yeah.
And Ann, we're seeing that your met rates are high, so we would like you to take a break. We'll let you know for how long.
Okay. Not surprised. And the yaw's the same. Now it's back at 12. Right? Yeah, it's at 12. Okay.
And Vapor looks like you're already doing it, but while Ann's taking a break, you can redo the APFR settings. So if you need those, I'll let you know.
Copy. I think the APFR is set correctly. I think so, Chief.
Disregard.
Now approaching the 2-hour mark of today's spacewalk. NASA astronauts Nichole Ayers and Ann McClain are working to install the right lower strut and right mid strut on the right side of the mass canister. Ayers has completed the build of the upper triangle and McClain installed it following her build.
And Ann, we're going to hold you still for approximately 5 minutes. We'll let you know.
Okay, I understand. 5 minutes. Is there anything useful I can do during that time?
I think that's safer.
Pictures, whatever minimizes your movement.
Copy and
Smile,
understand.
yeah. Laugh.
Alright. So take in the views.
And McClain getting the opportunity to enjoy the views for a minute, as well as take some photos. The International Space Station is currently flying 272 statute miles off the southern tip of Africa.
And in Vapor, we have a couple recommendations for you for the APFR ingress for you two to work together. The first one is to lock out your safety tether in case that is creating moments and pulling you over. The second is for Vapor to, at a minimum, get eyes to guide you in and or physically be there to support if you need it.
Okay. Does that mean that we have a green light to go?
I'll give you how much time remaining here in 10 seconds.
Copy.
And just like that, 5 minutes are up. You have a go to continue. So next up, ingress to APFR.
NASA astronaut Ann McClain now going to work to get back into the APFR, or articulating portable foot restraint, there in the center of your screen.
2 minutes until TDRS handover. And Ann and Vapor, for your awareness.
That must have rolled because it's back in the center.
And in Vapor, it's a minute and 20 seconds until TDRS handover, but we'll also have a KU handover, so we're going to lose all video for approximately 30 minutes.
Copy. Tethers look clear on my legs. Apron. Yep.
And before this handover, for the both of you, we'd like Vapor to come over and help out with the APFR ingress. We'll get you on the other side.
Your left foot to the right a little bit. Your right foot is in the middle. Move your right foot to the right a little bit. Are you able to hear me fairly clearly? You come in a little broken. It kind of like takes a minute for your voice to break. Okay. I'll try yelling.
And we are in a handover period between our satellites. The team here in Mission Control Houston today is being led by Flight Director Deanna Trujillo. We are now 2 hours into today's spacewalk, the 275th in support of space station maintenance, repairs, and upgrades.
Right foot in. Right foot looks in.
And in Vapor, we're back with you with
left
comms.
Foot still out, or your right foot in? The left is not in? Copy. The left heel is on top of the hook. There it is. Left heel's in, both are in. Awesome. Very nice. Thank you. All right, I'm going to release this upper triangle right to you.
Actually, before doing that, and we'd like to do access checks.
Okay.
All right, and so...
I can access the L6. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, we're looking for you to be able to access the RET, which looks like you were about to do. On the mounting bracket, you've got a clevis where the lower strut is, access to that, as well as the grounding block, as well as the mid-strut clevis that goes on the upper strut.
Yes, I can touch all four of those. I see the L6, L7, bolts 20 and 24 where those go, and I see the fit-in and the red.
Copy, that's great. And you can perform the socket swap as well as release the mounting bracket red.
Okay, it's for the red. Ready. It's coming back.
And Vapor, once you have that RET safely in the bag, we're going to have you start working the right mid-strut, straps 12 and 13.
Are you working the socket swap right now?
And during this handover period between our satellites, we will have communications with the crew. However, we will not have visuals of them. This loss of signal period has about 40 minutes left in it until we have visual of the crew again. At this time, NASA astronaut Anne McClain, who is serving as EV1 today, has ingressed the APFR, or Articulating Portable Foot Restraint. They will now work alongside each other to retrieve the right mid-struts from the bag and install them.
Yep, right mid strut, and you'll receive that from
away, so it's not coiling.
vapor. You'll put that on your BRT ret.
Copy.
And that'll be to the handrail stanchion that's closest to the side of the pad.
Cleaned up from the socket top.
Copy that, and
All right, Vapor, I am ready for the right mid strut. The BRT ret ready. A little further, yeah, and you said a ret for this, or closest to the nip pad, is that right? It seems opposite. Can I release it for you? Okay, if you release it, I'll put it over there closer to you. And here comes the large soak back. Okay.
And while Ann is putting that on her BRT vapor, you can go ahead and grab
Okay,
the
the
right
strut
lower
is on my
strut.
BRT.
BRT vapor, you can go ahead and grab the right lower strut.
Okay.
And you're going to receive the right lower strut, and you're going to leave the strut bag ret attached.
Okay, strut bag ret attached. Okay, the right lower strut is in the Velcro. Now pivot the, it looks like that red swapped out.
And if you're just joining us today, we are 2 hours and 7 minutes into a spacewalk where NASA astronauts McClain and Nichole Ayers are working to install a modification kit ahead of upcoming deployment of the fourth of the 6 new International Space Station Rollout solar arrays, or IROSAs.
Once
Additionally, the duo will relocate a communications antenna called the Common Communications for Visiting Vehicles, or C2V2 antenna, which will ensure better redundancy in communication with visiting spacecraft to the space station.
Like I have the saw bolt in my hand.
So far this morning, NASA astronaut Nichole Ayers worked to start the modification activity by building the upper triangle portion of the modification kit, which consists of 2 struts and a mounting bracket. McClain then installed the upper triangle on the mass canister of the beta gimbal assembly, or BGA structure. And the crew is now working to install the right lower strut, and then we'll move on to the right mid strut on the right side of the mass canister before doing the same on the left side.
Once the handoff is complete,
we are in a handover period where we do not have views of the crew. We have about 35 minutes left in this loss of signal, but we do have communications with the crew at this time.
And for you, right now we're just waiting for vapor to drive the bolt at the saw before continuing with your portion of the strut.
Copy and understand. Stop here. I'm ready to... Okay. I'm going to try to be real light on it, but let me know if I can help you out at all. Okay.
And
Tilt it towards the bolt for me. Tilt it toward the bolt. Yeah, it's like 3 from the bolt right now. Yeah, thank you. I don't know how much you can down here. Can when I lean back. But here we go. Here we go.
And Vapor, just as a reminder, I misspoke that we will not have video for 30 minutes. It's actually 50 minutes, and so we won't have any video for the next about 30 minutes.
Okay. Vapor's working the stop right now.
Copy that. I'll have a warning to read before we start doing any bolt operations.
Okay, we're ready for the warning.
Copy. So it's a pinch point warning, Vapor. You want make sure you keep your fingers clear of that interface, strut, and BGA.
Good job. That's a hard angle. Yeah. You don't mind, can you just hold it up towards the bolt a little bit? The ret is pulling it back? Yeah, the block for the ret is right next to your left, right next to your heca if you want to lock it. There we go. Now it's staying in place. Your end effector on that handrail may also provide you some leverage. It's for the just getting it turned without it popping out. I see.
If you're just joining us today, we are 2 hours and 14 minutes into the 275th spacewalk in support of space station maintenance, assembly, and upgrades. This is the third spacewalk of the year, and also the third spacewalk for NASA astronaut Anne McClain, and the very first for Nichole Ayers. This is the first spacewalk of Expedition 73. The primary tasks for the spacewalkers today is to install a support bracket called a modification kit, which will prepare for future installation and deployment of the fourth of 6 new solar arrays called IROSAs. The crew will also work to relocate a communications antenna called the Common Communications for Visiting Vehicles, which will provide better redundancy in communication with visiting spacecraft to the International Space Station.
Once Vapor is done finishing with the turns, you'll be driving M20 exactly 2 turns.
Okay, exactly 2 turns on M20 until 6.
So far this morning, the duo has worked to build and install a upper triangle portion of the modification kit and are now working to install the right lower strut and the right mid strut on the right side of the mass canister.
2 additional turns.4 turns, right? Yeah, 4 turns total? Yeah. Marcus, did you copy her question?
It is 4 turns total, so 2 hand start and then 2 with the PGC.
Thank you. Okay, there's your 4 turns total.
Copy 4 turns total. Vapor will have you hold tight and just want to make sure that the pit pin lanyard is free of the clevis before we start driving bolts.
Copy. I will grab the pit pin out. I see the pit pin. It is free of the clevis. And I have M20 in 2 turns. Am I good to put the pit pin in?
Can you repeat, Vapor? And did you say you've already driven M20 2 turns?
No, so the pit pin is free of the clevis, and I've driven M20, not driven, hand started 2 turns.
Copy. You hand started M20 2 turns. Is that correct?
Vapor. That's correct.
All right, copy Vapor with that. PGT settings for you, Bravo 7, clockwise 2. Let me know when you have that.
I'm set. Bravo 7, clockwise 2.
And you're going to be driving M19 to torque. Expect an additional 10 to 11 turns, Vapor.
Okay, driving a torque 10 to 11 turns. So Marcos, can I put the pit pin in?
Negative, not yet, but you can take your PGT to Bravo 1 clockwise 2.
Okay.
But you can take your PGT to Bravo 1 clockwise.
Bravo 1 clockwise 2. Okay, that was 8 additional turns on the stop bolt. Got the green light. 55.5 on the torque.
I copied 8 additional turns. Stand by. Vapor, that's a good PGT. We'll go for the torque wrench.
And those words from the ground IV there on the center of your screen, NASA astronaut Marcos Barrios, relaying up to Nichole Ayers, who is working to install the right lower struts.
Well, last check, I've got a torque wrench.
Ayers is using the PGT or pistol grip tool to secure the strut.
And I'm ready to drive when you guys are.
Copy. Thanks, Ann. We'll wait until we're done with Vapor's bolts and we've done all the checks.
See, I'm And a bye. Marcus, that was 2 breakovers, like a quarter turn.
2 breakovers, quarter turn, we'll discuss. And for the both of you, just for our latest consumables check, limiting consumable is Medox for EV1 with a PET of 622.
If you want copies. Copy. And what total time are we at right now, Marcus?
We're at 221, and then we expect this number to get better, the limiting consumable, as time goes on.
Copy.
And Vapor, we're still talking the torque wrench. And Vapor, we're going to do the additional checks before calling it good. We're expecting 2 more turns. So with that, just let me know and we can go through some checks.
I see the black line is flush. The gap check actually looks good. And then, Ann, can you give it a wiggle? Yep. Again. Yeah, and the wiggle test is good too.
Copy black line, no gap, good wiggle test. Just looking for the lower strut MLIs covering the strut pad.
McClain and Ayers now working to ensure that there is a good connection on that lower right strut.
Okay, the lower MLI is covering the strut pad.
Copy about the MLI, and we were just told that that is a good M19, and so, and you have a go to drive M20 to torque. Expect an additional 5 to 7 turns. Bravo 1 clockwise 2.
Copy, Bravo 1 clockwise 2 set M20.
And Vapor, you can release the rep from the lower strut.
McClain now using the pistol grip tool to secure the lower strut to the mounting bracket.
12.1 torque, green lights on M20.
And we copy Ann, and we're checking. And Ann, can you confirm that the black line is flush?
Following this, the next step will be to cover the strut with multi-layer insulation, or MLI, and then route cables of the solar array in support of future spacewalks.
Until we get a heck of view.
It is black line is flush.
Copy, that's a good M20, and you can stow your PGT, and then you now have to go to install that pit pin to the grounding block.
Copy and work. Marcus is released from the lower right strut.
Copy, Vapor. You can go ahead and translate to the right side pad location for the mid strut.
The pit pin is installed, and I'll work on the MLI around.
Copy, and just let us know.
If you're just joining us this morning, we are approaching the 2-hour and 30-minute mark into today's spacewalk to install a support bracket called a modification kit in preparation for future installation and deployment of International Space Station Rollout Solar Arrays, or IROSAs. NASA astronauts Anne McClain and Nichole Ayers are working to install lower struts on a mass canister that they have already built on the upper triangle of the modification kit.
Edge, and it's up to 40 pounds.
15 inches from the outer.
We do not currently have views of Ayers and McClain, but expect to regain views of them in about 18 minutes from now.
And we're currently just discussing things on the ground to look at the config of the mod kit. In the meantime, you do have a go to execute the IROSA cable routing on the right side.
Copy.
And Vapor, once...
And I do have the IROSAs wire tied with 3 wire ties. Go ahead.
Nope, just going to give Vapor more words that once she's on that right kind of mid-strut location, just to hold still.
Here. Marcus, the wires, IROSA wires, released 1 coil turn. So the black mark is now wire tied with 3 twists and set to low profile on the LR handrail at the lower strut.
That's great, Ann. Appreciate it. And Ann and Vapor...
My is stronger than the force that collapsed his back.
Ann and Vapor, just wanted to give you an update for the day. We have reached min config. The target was 2:30 PET, and we're at 2:27, so we're about 3 minutes ahead of the timeline, and so we're going to proceed. Proceed with the day, and we'll get you more words on what we're doing next.
Good news.
And just to be extra clear, we're going to pause right now to give you further words, but stand by.
Okay, pausing.
NASA astronaut Anne McClain has successfully routed cables on the right IROSA strut. The crew is about 3 minutes ahead of the expected timeline for today.
And in Vapor, we're still discussing what our going ahead plan is.
Look this way. I can walk this right out so it's not pulling it. Okay. All right. Go.
And in Vapor, just an update, we have reached the min config. We have decided to clean up and prioritize the C2 V2, and we're going to get additional words to you soon. And,
If you want copies.
and in Vapor, the rationale behind that is current limiting consumable is Medox for EV1, which is right now at a 630.
Understand. My way back down the mass chemistry.
We are now 2 hours and 31 minutes into the 275th spacewalk outside the International Space Station.
At this time, we'd like the mid strut back in the strut bag, any free rets back in the cable bag, and the PGT and torque wrench in the cable bag.
Okay, copy. So mid-strut is going back to the bag, and then the French going cable back. And I've got the mid-strut when you want to cut off your right hand. Okay.
Good words, Vapor.
And I'm ready for it in. Got it. Okay, and my go-to ret's still on it. Okay. If I can get a red on it. Okay.
And those words from the ground IV up to NASA astronaut Nichole Ayers, walking through some procedures to get the mid-strut cables and PGT put back in the cable bag ahead of the next steps in today's spacewalk.
Got a bag ret on the mid-strut. Okay, I'm ready to send it back. We can just let go of it. Okay, I'll let it go. Because the mid-strut is ready to the bag. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to feed this Velcro through the D-rings in a with a glove hand. Make sure that's okay.
Yeah, Vapor in it. The strut does not need to be inside the Velcro. As long as it's inside the bag and secure, we're good with that.
Okay. And Marcus, I assume I'm not staying up here anymore. I'm going to hop off.
Stand down, Vapor, or correction, stand down. And you can go ahead and get out of the APFR.
Copy, I'm pausing. Copy. Yeah, I'm out of the APFR. Nice. Only took 1 calorie to get out. unlock my reel. I'm thinking about it. Get my reels unlocked. You have a free hand. Sorry? If you have a free hand, can you give me the end of that adjustable? Yes, I'm going to make my way down there now. Perfect. All right, here it comes. Going in the table bag.
And we are now 2 hours and 36 minutes into today's spacewalk. NASA astronauts Anne McClain and Nichole Ayers have completed the lower right strut installation, which is the minimum configuration for the mod kit. Given the high priority of the common communications for visiting vehicles antenna relocation, the team has been directed to stop working on the mod kit, clean up the IROSA work site, and move on to the C2V2 relocation task.
Copy. Copy. And Marcus, I'm sure you're discussing what's going to go out and what's going to stay out and go in. We know we're putting the torque wrench and the PGT back in the strut bag.
Those are going into the cable bag. So the PGT and the torque wrench into the cable bag. Going into the cable bag. So the PGT and the
cable bag. I think it'll be more helpful if I come around to the cable bag. What do you think? Sure. Yeah. So all I have to do is close the bag and then get these in the cable bag. Okay. Yeah. Probably be taking this HFR and with extended S. Yeah, I think that actually might be more. I don't know if I need to ever hear about a cable bag just there.
At this time, NASA astronauts Anne McClain and Nichole Ayers are working to reconfigure the work site, including adding the mid-struts, cables, and PGTs back in the cable bag as they clean up this work site and prepare for the common communications for visiting vehicle antenna relocation task.
Okay, I've got the PGT and my torque wrench in the cable bag. Copy. Move it back to the strut bag.
and in vapor in about 4 minutes.
And the ATFR to lower profile for transition.
In about 4 minutes, we're going to have a TDRS handover of approximately 18 minutes. During this time, we're just going to ask you to enjoy the view and take pictures. If you both can right now, turn off your HECA and we'll pick up with C2V2 once we're done.
Okay, do I understand 18 minutes? 18, 18, first.
McClain and Ayers are continuing to clean up the ModKit worksite ahead of the C2V2 or Common Communications for Visiting Vehicle Antenna Relocation task. Given the higher priority of the C2V2 relocation task, the team has been directed to stop the work on the modification kit, clean up the IROSA worksite, and move on to the C2V2 relocation task.
Tighten it down. May want an inventory before we close that out. Okay. Marcus, did you want a ret by ret inventory of the front back?
Let's do it.
All right, I'll sit on this end.
And we've got 2 minutes until that handover. That's going to last 18 minutes.
Okay, and just understand this is KU.
Negative, this will be S-band. We'll lose comms with you for 18 minutes, and so we're just going to have you pause, take pictures, and enjoy the view.
Okay, we have number 14 on the outside of that. We have number 10. Number 4. Number 1. Number 2. Number 3. F13. Get this guy number 7. Number 11.
Handover in 20 seconds.
And at this time, we do have a approximately 18-minute long time period where we do not have communications or views of the crew due to a handover period between our satellites. So the crew has been directed to enjoy the view and hang tight, and we'll see them on the other side of this handover. If you are just joining us, we are 2 hours and 45 minutes into today's spacewalk. NASA astronauts Anne McClain and Nichole Ayers worked to install a support bracket called a modification kit on the International Space Station. As part of this, they installed and built the upper triangle and attached it to the mass canister and installed the right lower struts and upper struts as well. This is what is considered the minimum configuration for the mod kit. Given the higher priority of the Common Communications for Visiting Vehicles relocation task, the team was directed to stop working on the mod kit, clean up the IROSA work site in this configuration, and move on to the C2V2 relocation task. Today's spacewalk is the 275th in support of space station maintenance assemblies and upgrades. It's the third spacewalk for NASA astronaut Anne McClain, who previously has conducted 2 spacewalks totaling 13 hours and 8 minutes. Today's spacewalk is the very first for Nichole Ayers, and this is the third spacewalk of the year and the very first of Expedition 73.
Sorry? 18 minutes was a long time. A really long time. What? The airport's really cool right now.
Ayers and McClain arrived on the SpaceX Crew Dragon Endurance on March 15th following their launch the day prior.
Are doing it with your visor up? Yeah. They're not too close, are they?
While NASA astronauts Anne McClain and Nichole Ayers are enjoying a break between a handover and our satellite communications, let's take a look at the crew that is on board the International Space Station. Seated in the front row from left are, of course, NASA astronaut Nichole Ayers and Anne McClain, who are our spacewalkers for the day. In the back row from left are Roscosmos cosmonauts Kirill Peskov, NASA astronaut Johnny Kim, Roscosmos cosmonauts Sergei Ryzhikov and Alexei Zubritsky, and JAXA, or Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency astronaut Takuya Onishi. Onishi and Kim helped assist Ayers and Nichole Ayers and McClain this morning as they got suited up and stepped through procedures for depressurization.
of the back? Eh? Door of the back? I did. Yeah, you did one? Yeah. Okay. I think, well, as long as you get the game up, but... Roll it around. That easy to do.
And we are getting a view there on our screen of NASA astronaut Anne McClain in the spacesuit with the red stripes, as well as NASA astronaut Nichole Ayers on the left, wearing the unmarked spacesuit and that strut bag that they were working to reconfigure ahead of moving on to the relocation of the Common Communications for Visiting Vehicles antenna. Towards the lower portion of your screen, you do see that upper triangle that Ayers built earlier this morning that is attached to the mass canister, as well as the lower strut that was successfully installed. Again, this is considered to be the minimum configuration for the mod kit, and given the higher priority of the C2V2 relocation task, the team has been directed to stop work on the mod kit, clean up the IROSA work site, and move on to the relocation antenna task.
Tried to get a bunch of pictures of the bombs of the solar arrays. They're showing their age. Yeah, they are. It's going to be impossible to get a selfie with two of us. Yeah, I guess. I think it might be impossible to get a selfie with two of us. You could peek over that bag. Oh, maybe not.
And as we have mentioned, Anne and Nichole have completed the lower right strut installation, which is the minimum configuration for the mod kit today. And given the higher priority of the Common Communications for Visiting Vehicles relocation task, the team has been directed to stop the work on the mod kit, clean up the IROSA work site, and move on to the C2V2 relocation task. When spacecraft visit the International Space Station, they rely on a communication antenna, the C2V2, to communicate. Relocating this antenna will ensure better redundancy and communication with visiting spacecraft to the International Space Station. And there on your screen, you do see a glimpse of the spacecraft that are currently docked to the International Space Station. We have the Crew 10 spacecraft, which Anne and Nichole arrived on, as well as a cargo flight, a Cargo Dragon CRS-32, which just recently arrived, and we also have 2 Progress spacecraft stocks, as well as the Soyuz MS-27, which brought up NASA astronaut Johnny Kim.
I can hear you really quietly, Marcos.
And in Vapor, this is Marcos, radio check.
Very quiet. How do you hear him, Vapor? I've got you, yeah, very quiet.
And one more time, user error on my part.
Loud and clear. Same.
All right, we have words for you. So we're going to perform or at least check that you accomplished some of the cleanup steps that we asked you to do before. Then we're going to do a glove and hap check, and then we're going to proceed with C2V2.
Copy.
All right, so you can just confirm for us that the right mid strut was returned to the strut bag.
Confirm.
That the free rets from the strut bag were transferred to the cable bag.
Negative, we did not do that.
And there's no, and we copy add in Vapor, no need to do that now, and then that the EV3, PGT, and torque wrench were transferred to the cable bag.
Vapor.
All right, with that, we'll get a glove, hap, and gauntlet check from the both of you.
Hey, EV1. No change to the glove, and I did the extra check on that finger spot, and no change to it. And my gauntlets are in place. And half is dry. No change to the glove. Half is dry. Both are down.
Copy that from the both of you, and we're going to have you retrieve the APFR and put it on your BRT, and then you're going to be translating inboard. And Vapor, we're going to have you retrieve the WIFX after the APFR is off and stow that on your BRT. And so just for your situational awareness, we're essentially executing C2V2 as written, and we'll come back for more cleanup.
Copy.
And those words up to the crew, letting them know the plan forward. NASA astronaut Anne McClain is going to work to retrieve the articulating portable foot restraint, which you see her doing there on your screen now. Meanwhile, Ayers is reconfiguring the tool bag and ensuring things are in a good place before they move on to the C2V2 antenna relocation.
Get out of your way here. HTFR says.
And it looks like Ann McClain has successfully uninstalled that articulating portable foot restraint. She now has it tethered to her. You see it floating just behind her. We are now 3 hours and 2 minutes into today's spacewalk. Today's spacewalk is the 275th in support of space station maintenance, assembly, and upgrades.
I have the HTFR in my DRT. I'm releasing my rich man spare lead.
Copy, Ann.
I've got the WIFX on my DRT.
And we copy Vapor. And then the Vapor looks. Next for you is going to be translating to the work site, but we'll want Ann to lead first to deconflict safety tethers.
Yep, copy that. Copy. Let me get the HTFR in a better out here. Your legs are just under a cable, so you have to go. Oh, okay, body up first. Okay. They know they're clear? Clear? Well, you're going to have to go up and around. Yep. Here you go. Okay, thanks. Yep. I like how my safety tethers are on the HTFR standby one.
And at this point, NASA astronauts Ann McClain and Nichole Ayers are just working on completing the cleanup tasks ahead of moving into the Common Communications for Visiting Vehicle Antenna Relocation task.
Let's get it. This guy got locked out.
Good job, Ann. With that complete, you'll be headed inboard. You're going to be going back to phase 1 before going zenith and dropping off that APFR on with 10.
Copy with 10.
And NASA astronaut Ann McClain is now beginning her translation.
It looks like you're already doing it. You're going to follow Ann, but you're going to then continue aft of station to get to the work site.
Copy. Yeah, I've got the CC antenna in sight.
Ann McClain is continuing her translation process to install the articulating portable foot restraint at the new location. Meanwhile, NASA astronaut Nichole Ayers is also beginning her translation process.
And Marcus, remind me exactly where I'm going up with mile marker.
You're going to be going up at the P1, P3 interface, so right when you see that DCDU, you'll be going zenith.
Okay. Copy.
Vapor, looks like you're making your way to the work site. Just real quick for you, since it's on your way, do not translate on the CAS, the Common Attachment System. That should be just outboard of the C2V2.
Copy. Yep, I'm zenith orbit already.
And we see you, and that is the correct translation.
Okay.
Once you reach the phase 2-3 edge, so the tippy top of station, you're going to be headed to with 10, which is back outboard.
Copy, I see it.
Copy, and then we'll like you to fair lead. There should be a handrail right at that P1, P3 intersection at the tippy top. We like you to fair lead your safety tether there just to make sure it stays away from the radiator.
Copy. And is that a rich man?
Say again?
Is that a rich man's fair lead you want?
Negative. It could be a poor man.
Okay. Marcos, EV1 is putting the QFR in, taking a look at these cables. Actually, so they're wire tied to this, or also wire tied to this. This if I just release the width wire tie, be able to move the antenna out of the way.
And Vapor, thank you for the view and those words. We concur with your plan where you're going to untie the cables at the base of the antenna, and that should give you enough room. And Vapor, just because you're working near the antenna, don't translate on the C2V2 boom. We've got the retro reflectors, and do not touch the glass. Don't touch the radome paint on the actual antennas. And then for the electrical cables, want to ensure that you avoid the radii of less than 6 inches. And we see you working the APFR. Once that's secure and you think it's out of the way, you could head aft to the work site.
Copy. And does it matter? Can we just set it low profile? I know we have settings.
Checking and and those were good words. The actual settings don't matter as long as they're out of your way.
Copy.
And this view of NASA astronaut Anne McClain as she is working to install that articulating portable foot restraint. You can see she has the PGT or pistol grip tool attached to her side. This has been utilized quite frequently today during the spacewalk.
Yeah, I got a good pull twist test on it.
And we copy Ann.
And we are in another handover period between our satellites, but we are getting a view inside Mission Control Houston.
You came in broken. Can you confirm that the lock and collar is black on black?
The team in the room today during this Orbit 2 shift is being led by Flight Director Deanna Trujillo.
This cell can be depressed, and lock and collar is black on black and has a good pull twist test.
And we copy that. So you can head aft to the workstation, and just for both of your essays, we currently don't have a video feed.
Copy.
And for you, I read some of these for Vapor. Just want to repeat because there are a lot of no-touch zones in this area. You want to avoid the dry lube that's on the shaft of the grapple fixture. For the C2V2 boom, don't translate on it, don't kick it, don't touch the glass on the reflectors, and don't touch the radome paint.
TV1 copy.
And then a warning for you, and you have the radiator just to your back, so you want to avoid contact with the radiator. It's got sharp edges, thermal paint, etc.
Copy. Is the preferred translation path right along the radiator?
You can, from the APFR, you can use the diagonal strut that connects, that's on phase 3. That should take you towards the radiator for a second, but then it should take you diagonally down towards Vapor.
Copy. There's no handrails on it.
We agree, we concur. You'll have to use the I-beam.
And with NASA astronaut Anne McClain successfully installing that articulating portable foot restraint, she's now working to translate to P3 ahead of the Common Communication for Visiting Vehicle Relocation task.
And Vapor, can you confirm that you've released the cables from the base of the boom?
Vapor? And there's handrails right on the other side of this guy? Yes. Big warm one. And on the other side. Oh. down there.
NASA astronaut Nichole Ayers is already in the location of the C2V2 antenna relocation.
Good one. Watch my feet as they come over. Enough, I'm clear. You're clear.
The Common Communications for Visiting Vehicles, or C2V2 antenna, is being relocated 1.5 feet to ensure better redundancy and communication with visiting spacecraft to the International Space Station.
And then release it from WIF 17. And if you need to use your BRT, we've got a handrail for you.
Yep, I just put one down, so if you can release, I'll be able to hold it. Okay. Got on it? Yeah, holding on to me. Up here. And do you want me to wrap to it? Okay. Can you reach it? Maybe. Can do that.
And we are getting some views of the Earth as the International Space Station flies 268 statute miles